Why, hello there, I'm Professor Joel, and welcome to another episode of Planet Scooby Reviews. This week we are covering the gruesome game of the Gator Ghoul, and this is episode 3 of the first season of the Scooby Doo Show, and it originally aired on September 25th, 1976. This episode sees the gang in Hokey Swamp, which is a play on Okefenokee Swamp. Hokefenokee Swamp, well, they state that it is in Georgia, and there they are visiting Scooby Dum. And Scooby Doo is really excited to see Scooby Dum because they haven't seen each other since they were puppies. And if you don't know, Scooby Dum is Scooby Doo's cousin. And Scooby Dum is owned by Ma and Pa Skillet. And unfortunately, Ma and Pa Skillet's business is just sinking like crazy because there's this gruesome Gator Ghoul nearby, and it's scaring away all their customers. This episode also marks the first appearance of Scooby Dum, who isn't one of my favorite characters, but everyone else seems to love him. This episode was also a request from James M. I'm glad he made the request because I recently watched this movie called Crawl. It's a 2019 movie featuring some killer alligators, and I enjoyed that film immensely because it was just a great little monster film. And just my excitement for that film kind of brought additional excitement to this because the gators in that were scary, and the gator creature in this is terrifying. If you'd like to own this episode on DVD, you can buy it on Amazon as part of the Scooby Doo Dino Mutt collection. I'll leave a link to that below. Anyway, enough jibber jabber from me. Let's get to it. The episode opens with the gang driving through Hokefenokee Swamp at night. Shaggy's a little worried that they are lost, but Freddy assures him that they are following Ma and Pa Skillet's directions to a T. Make a right at the old gristmill, a left at the cemetery, and then a right at the snake farm, and bam, you're there. Freddy explains that Ma and Pa Skillet called them down to investigate the ghost of a Gator Ghoul that has been pestering them. Little does he know that the Gator Ghoul is outside watching them and casting a yellow tint on the Mystery Machine with his glowing eyes. The gang just thinks the tint is from the moon. Oblivious to the danger, Daphne asks if Scooby knows Scooby Dum, and Shaggy replies that they are cousins. This is the first time they'll see each other though, since they were puppies. Shaggy's also excited for the Skillet's super funky spicy fritters, which are famous throughout the state of Georgia and are only available at Ma and Pa Skillet's Showboat restaurant. Velma exclaims that the spicy fritters are too hot for her taste, but Shaggy reveals that their Fenoki Fizz soft drink, which is way better than Kooky Cola, is the perfect foil for putting out the fritters' heat. Hopping on a small raft-like ferry, the gang catches their first sighting of the Gator Ghoul, a half-man, half-gator, but all ghost monstrosity. The ghoul disappears just as fast as he appeared, and the gang continue their trek to the Skillet Showboat. The restaurant inside is completely empty, and Ma Skillet explains that they haven't had any customers in weeks due to the Gator Ghoul. If business doesn't turn around by next week, the bank is going to foreclose their loan. Pa Skillet takes the gang to the Fenoki bottling room, where the bottling machines are sitting idle. Due to the frightening Gator Ghoul, Pa Skillet hasn't even been able to ship his popular product for well over a month, as all his workers ran away. We also learn that Scooby Dum is studying to become a police dog, and upon hearing that the gang are going to look for clues, Scooby Dum breaks out the magnifying glass and gets busy searching. In the process, he runs into the Gator Ghoul, and a quick chase emerges until Scooby Dum accidentally turns on a soda machine that wards off this Gator Ghoul. Soon after, the gang bump into Simon Stingy, the restaurant's dishwasher and handyman.
That's Simon Stingy, a dishwasher and handyman.
I'll have him tarred and feathered and thrown to the gator.
They also meet Alice Dovely, the restaurant's maid. Alice has volunteered to work for free to help keep the Skillets in business. She's also loaned them money to help them stay afloat. As Simon Stingy is so grumpy, Velma decides they should investigate him further as a suspect. The first spot they check is Simon's cabin. Inside, Freddy discovers a suspicious magazine called Legend of the Swamp. Distressed, the gang return to the showboat to look for more clues, and it doesn't take long for them to run into the Gator Ghoul. In the events of the chase, Scooby Dum finds a headless alligator costume with a motor inside. Even more suspicious is a label on the costume that states it is property of the Beauregard Film Company. Velma recognizes Beauregard as the company that shot a movie in the swamp the year before. She also remembers that most of the movie was filmed in an old shack. So they go investigate this old shack. Inside, they find a piece of stationery from a rival soda company called Kooky Cola. They also find some shredded pieces of pink paper, which they manage to put back together, but it still does not complete the entire note. Nearly solving the mystery, Freddy sets a trap using some sticky fritter batter. The batter trap works and they end up capturing the gator. Before unmasking it, Velma explains she's pieced the shredded paper letter together from some additional shredded letters she found. And it says, "Notice of termination from Coca-Cola Company to Alice Dovely." Unmasking the Gator Ghoul, it's no other than Alice.
That's ridiculous. Miss Dudley.
It would have been mine if it weren't for you nosy kids.
After getting fired from the Coca-Cola Company, Alice wanted revenge, so she decided to devalue Finoki Fizz by scaring off the customers. Then she could buy it on the cheap and sell it to the Coca-Cola Company to make a fortune. The beaming yellow eyes of the Gator Ghoul were just from some battery-powered flashlights, and Alice used the alligator head from a costume left behind from the film company to make her Gator Ghoul costume. With all this evidence, Pa Skillet rings up the sheriff to drag Alice away. This episode is awesome. We've got some fantastic swamp settings, a creative and intimidating monster, as well as several interesting set pieces being explored, such as the showboat and all these shacks. Scooby Dum is actually entertaining in this episode as he's quite brave and he does his best to ward off the Gator Ghoul. I liked how they explained that Scooby Dum was in police dog training to become a detective. I don't think this was mentioned in later episodes, but it explains why he pulls out a magnifying glass at every clue found. I also liked his bravery in this episode. It wasn't like obnoxious like I kind of find with Scrappy Doo. It was kind of cute how Scooby got jealous and then Scooby tried to get brave to compete with Scooby Dum. The jokes are fast and funny in this one, and the rival cola companies is a nice parody of Coca-Cola versus Pepsi. I also adore how most of this episode took place on a showboat. Such a unique setting, and I'd definitely eat there. I also can't rave on enough about the Gator Ghoul. This monster is scary. I'm sure it terrified hundreds of kids back in the day, and I'm surprised they made it look as sinister as it did. At one point, it nearly even took off Shaggy's hand with a hard chomp of its teeth. I loved how this thing crept around and was sinister enough that not even Freddy would approach it. Thank you to all those who have subscribed so far or liked or commented on my videos. It really makes my day and it helps new people find my channel. If you'd like to request a new episode, please leave a comment below. I'll even cover Scrappy Doo episodes. Well, that wraps up another mystery. Until next week, see you later, alligator.